name is Sehdeen Lowe. I run a podcast called Sehdeen Unbridled and a website. It's Sehdeen. And it's kind of just based on the basis of loving myself now. Professionally, I'm a social worker and I work in a lot of these settings. So I will also bring my professional opinion in today as well as my personal opinion. In terms of disability, I have PTSD, a panic disorder, and what my doctor likes to call high functioning depression, even though it's not on the DSM-5. I also have a host of other health related issues that would fall under the term of a disability because of the way that they bother my life. Part of the thing I'll be talking about today as well is being pregnant with all of these issues that are going on and how medical professionals treated me as a Black woman and how even my friend who have very similar comorbidity was treated and she was white. So we'll be bringing everything in today. So mental health is often not recognized in Jamaican culture, in any or most Black cultures, to be honest. We don't, if somebody says that they're depressed and they can't get out of bed, it's often termed as you are lazy. And I recently learned that laziness doesn't exist. It's not a thing that actually exists. It's either you're capable of doing something or at this moment you're just not capable of doing it. When we're told to just suck it up and be strong, part of me being strong is telling you that I'm struggling. It took courage for me to say that I'm struggling. And I need you to validate the fact that I just said that I'm struggling and be present here with me in that struggle. Rather than tell me, I'm Christian, so pray about it. You're not praying hard enough. Depression is a demon. She noticed something within herself. She noticed a bias that if a Black person came in with heart issues, chest pain, etc., she automatically would think of cholesterol. You need to lower your cholesterol or high blood pressure, something like that. She wouldn't think heart attack. And it wasn't until she noticed that bias within herself that she saw that same bias around those around her. If a Black person comes in complaining of any sort of pain or issue, they're not going to pay attention to it as quickly as if somebody with a fair complexion, a white person, come in and say, oh, I'm having chest pain. Immediately, they will start to do EKG. They will start to do things that need to get done. And another study also showed that some doctors, not all, believe that Black people feel less pain than white people. So again, as a Black woman with mental health issues, sometimes my mental health gets blamed. And I'm like, no, it's not in my head. Currently, something I'm fighting and experiences as we're talking is often my hands get swollen, my feet get swollen, and I will gain 20 pounds in a week. And often I'm told that it's my diet, it's because I'm overweight, it's this or it's that. And I'm just like, but you seem not to understand. I gain 20 pounds in a week. That's not normal. I don't care what I'm eating. There's no way I can gain 20 pounds in a week. And my hands are visibly swollen. I can't close them. Sometimes opening them, I can barely open. Like right now, they're not even as straight as they could be. And nobody knows why. And they're not taking the time to do the in-depth tests that they need to do. And I'm constantly asking myself, is this because they have this bias in their head that Black people don't feel the same pain the same way? When you go to the ER, you will not be believed and you will not be treated with common decency. I feel like that affects your mental health and causes its own PTSD and disability issues. Because not being believed when you're chronically in pain, it's like, it's so difficult. Thankfully, I've had a lot of at least colored nurse or Black nurses, and they kind of help with the advocacy. For me, I find that I have more advocacy from a person of color if they're my nurse than I do from a person not of color. My first nurse for the 3 days was a Black woman, and the care, the effort, the extra information, all of that, she gave to me and not my other nurse. Once that nurse left after her 3 days, the nurse that I had after that didn't show as much interest, didn't show as much care. Went to the doctor once. My blood pressure was like 88 over 50 something. and my nurse was freaking out just a little bit because it's below 90 and like my pulse is super low and etc. And I'm like, oh no, I'm fine. She goes, you don't feel lightheaded, you don't feel dizzy, you don't feel anything. I'm like, no, I'm okay. She goes, but that's not okay. So she went, this girl literally went and got me food, got me crackers.
At least you got your food. Yeah, right. Yeah,
My
I used to get
doctor
that too.
comes in and my doctor goes, yeah, she's fine. That's normal. I get to be Black and educated. That's to put it frankly, I get to be Black and educated. And that's completely fine. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the other thing is, I am not the Black woman's mouthpiece. I am my own mouthpiece, but I'm not the mouthpiece for the whole entire Black community. So we're not our community's mouthpiece, and we get to be individuals. Beyond that, I am not my skin either. I'm so much many other things than I am Black. I'm a woman. I'm a mom. I'm a Christian. There's so much more to me than I am Black. Lastly, I get to be Black and proud. I feel like with everything going on with Black Lives, there's just too many hashtags. There's too many people to name, too many people to call attention to that I myself can't even name all of them off the top of my head. I know I have a few that completely rocked my own world, and their names will forever, or even their stories, if I don't remember their names, will forever be etched into my brain for the rest of my life. But I think Black Lives are doing such an awesome job in what they do. Do I think they could do better, including people with disability? Absolutely. However, there's also fighting for people who are dying needlessly every day. And sometimes it's we can only fight one battle at a time. And I'm not sure the battle for us is yet to be fought. I, as a Black woman, want to be treated just as how you would treat the next person beside me who's not a woman of color or a person of color in general. How would I advocate for yourself? Stick to your guns. You internally know how you are feeling, what's wrong with you, what's going on with you. You know you. And doctors are learning from a book, and you might not be textbook. Um, there's also a book by a doctor, Black doctor from the UK again, that he's looking up things like smallpox and chickenpox, what that looks like on a Black skin compared to what that looks like on somebody of a fair complexion or a white person. And sometimes it's very different. Keep going back, keep advocating for yourself. If something doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right. And until you're at peace, do not allow anybody to tell you otherwise. There's just too many hashtags. There's too many people to name, too many people to call attention to that I myself can't even name all of them off the top of my head. I know I have a few that completely rocked my own world, and their names will forever, or even their stories, if I don't remember their names, will forever be etched into my brain for the rest of my life. But I think Black Lives are doing such an awesome job in what they do. Do I think they could do better, including people with disability? Absolutely. However, there's also fighting for people who are dying needlessly every day. And sometimes it's we can only fight one battle at a time. And I'm not sure the battle for us is yet to be fought. On Instagram, I'm at Sehdeen Unbridled or Sehdeen. You'll find my page there. I'll be posting new things like workouts and exercise and my new journey to loving me now as a mom and a single parent and going through that loveliness that I'm going through as well. I'm on two podcasts. I'll be dropping a new podcast later this month called The Glow Up with Sehdeen and Sash. That's between me and one of my best friends. We're both going through divorces together at one time. So we decided to tell the world about it and our glow up that will come out of this divorce season that we're going through. And Sehdeen Unbridled is my other podcast that I am by myself. If you want to hear more about my pregnancy journey, hop on over there. I'll be releasing episode later on, like 2 or 3 weeks. By the time you hear this, it will be released.